It begins with a strange truth most people never see. Your enemies are your greatest architects. They sharpen your name, they spread your influence, they fuel your strength even when they believe they're destroying you. The average person fears enemies. They spend their lives avoiding conflict, hiding from critics, desperately seeking to be liked. But the powerful understand a secret written in history, whispered in philosophy, proven by psychology. The presence of enemies is proof of your importance. No one plots against the irrelevant. No one envies the invisible. No one tries to bring down what is already beneath them. The moment you attract resistance, you reveal something undeniable. You have become a force that cannot be ignored. Machiavelli knew this. He wrote that rulers who have no enemies should be feared, for they are weak, invisible, and insignificant. Enemies are not a curse. They are a signal that you matter, a signal that your power is rising, a signal that your shadow has begun to stretch across the lives of others. But here is where most fail. They see enemies as danger, as chaos, as unfair punishment. They react emotionally. They collapse. They fight with rage, or worse, they retreat into silence out of fear. And in doing so, they give their enemies exactly what they want: control. The shadow law teaches the opposite. It says, your enemies are not to be feared. They are to be used. Their existence is inevitable, but their energy is transferable. They fuel you when allies abandon you. They keep your name alive when friends forget you. They become unwilling servants in the empire you are building, even as they curse your name. Think carefully about this. Every insult, every rumor, every attack, every betrayal, it is all free labor. Labor that spreads your story, that hardens your character, that forces you to grow sharper than you ever would without opposition. History proves this law endlessly. Caesar's assassins thought they ended his power, yet in death, he became immortal. Socrates' accusers thought they silenced him, yet his execution made his philosophy eternal. Martin Luther King Jr.'s enemies thought they destroyed him, yet their hatred carved his name deeper into the world's memory. Your enemies are the fire that forges you, and without them, you would remain soft, untested, forgettable. But here is the darker truth. The shadow they cast becomes part of your aura. People measure power not just by allies but by enemies. The more formidable the opposition, the more formidable you are seen to be. Would Genghis Khan have been feared if no cities resisted him? Would Napoleon have been legendary if no nations rose against him? Would prophets have been remembered if no rulers declared them dangerous? Power is not defined by peace. It is defined by the storms that form around you and whether or not you stand through them. This is the shadow law. Enemies are not just obstacles. They are mirrors. They reveal your strength by the very fact that they exist. So the next time someone mocks you, underestimates you, betrays you, or schemes against you, remember, you are not being diminished. You are being documented. They are writing your myth, even if they don't know it. The weak try to erase enemies. The wise transform them. The powerful use them. Part II, the hidden servants. Every enemy you make becomes a secret servant of your destiny. Think about the psychology of hatred. When someone despises you, they dedicate their energy to you. They talk about you. They obsess over you. They spread your name. And in their obsession, they elevate your importance in the eyes of others. Even the rumors of your enemies are free advertising. Even the lies they tell are fuel for curiosity. People will think, if so many despise this person, if so many resist them, if so many fear them, then who are they? Your enemies are amplifiers. The more they shout against you, the louder your presence becomes. The more they try to bury you, the more attention gathers around your name. This is why silence kills power, but opposition grows it. Machiavelli wrote that a wise ruler would prefer to be both loved and feared, but if he could not have both, it is far safer to be feared. Why? Because fear demands energy. Fear keeps people watching. Fear forces them to organize around you. Enemies never sleep. While allies grow complacent, enemies remain alert. They sharpen their swords, they whisper in the dark, they scheme in the shadows, but in doing so, they keep your image alive in the minds of the people. History is filled with men and women who understood this. Jesus himself was elevated by the resistance of religious leaders who branded him dangerous. Galileo's enemies tried to silence his discoveries, but their persecution immortalized him. Malcolm X was hunted, demonized, and resisted, yet his enemies carved his place into the foundation of history. In every case, the enemies became unwilling servants of their legend. The shadow law says, never silence your enemies, never beg for their approval, never try to erase them. Let them live, let them breathe, let them speak, because every word they speak against you becomes a stone in your fortress. Part III, Transformation of the Self. Enemies do more than spread your name, they sharpen your character. Adversity is a blacksmith's hammer. Without it, you remain soft metal. With it, you are forged into steel. The human spirit does not grow in comfort. It grows in resistance. Muscles grow only when pushed against weight. Minds sharpen only when attacked with doubt. Souls harden only when betrayed. Without enemies, you risk becoming complacent, arrogant, and fragile. With enemies, you are forced to evolve. You are forced to learn strategy, to master patience, to strengthen discipline. Every attack trains you. Every betrayal teaches you. Every scheme against you sharpens your awareness. Enemies unknowingly mentor you into becoming untouchable. This is why the greatest generals, thinkers, and leaders were defined by opposition. They needed enemies to rise. They needed the storm to grow stronger. They needed resistance to awaken the giant within them. The shadow law whispers, do not hate your enemies. Thank them. Thank them for their energy. Thank them for their obsession. Thank them for training you. They are unpaid instructors in the school of power. Part IV, the theater of perception. There is another dimension to this law, the theater of perception. Power is not just what you have. Power is what people believe you have. And enemies, ironically, build the illusion of greater power. Consider this. When many stand against one, observers assume the one must be formidable. Why else would so many gather against him? The crowd itself testifies to his strength. Enemies create the theater. They form the chorus. They dramatize your importance. They make your story more compelling, more legendary. A man with no opposition is easily forgotten. A man who walks surrounded by enemies is unforgettable. Think of Alexander the Great. Would his legend have survived if no Persian kings rose against him? Would his name echo in eternity if no army stood to block his path? No. The theater of enemies elevated him from conqueror to myth. Enemies dramatize your life. They turn your story into a struggle worth watching. They transform your biography into a tale of resistance and triumph. Without them, you are merely another figure in the crowd. With them, you become the hero in an eternal drama. Part V, the Dark Harvest. The shadow law does not end with recognition. It ends with harvest. The wise do not simply endure enemies. They harvest them. Harvest their energy, harvest their words, harvest their mistakes. Use every attack as material. Turn every insult into fuel. Transform every betrayal into motivation. A skilled strategist knows that enemies destroy themselves in time. Their obsession blinds them. Their hatred consumes them. Their plots grow reckless. And while they waste their lives in shadow wars against you, you rise higher. Do not waste time seeking revenge. Do not waste energy trying to destroy them. Let them destroy themselves. Let them burn in their own fire. Your task is only to harvest the energy they pour toward you and convert it into strength. This is the final stage of the shadow law, transformation of enmity into empire. Your enemies become bricks in the palace of your power. Their resistance becomes the foundation of your legend. Closing. So remember this. Do not run from enemies. Do not fear them. Do not hate them. For in the end, they are the greatest proof of your power. They are the clearest sign of your rising shadow. They are the architects of your immortality. The shadow law is simple. Your enemies do not destroy you. They build you. They spread you. They immortalize you. And when history looks back, it will not remember their names. It will remember yours.